Bleach. Bleach was once a titan of the manga and anime industry, one of the big three, but its star started to wane. Its manga finished, and anime stopped before the final arc. But Bleach has had somewhat of a resurgence recently, with a new manga one-shot and a final arc finally getting an anime adaptation. Things are starting to look up once more for the franchise. But should you read Bleach in the year 2022? Short answer, yes. But let's have a look as to why. So Bleach is a shonen manga, written by Totoro Kubo. What is a shonen manga? Well, a shonen manga is a manga targeted at young teen boys, aged 12 to 18, but of course has many fans outside its demographic. Bleach ran from 2001 and ended in 2016. Bleach also got an anime adaptation, which aired between 2004 and 2012. Bleach was one of the big three shonen during its heyday, along with Naruto and One Piece. But a lot of people fell off Bleach, and it started to be received negatively. Until recently, Bleach's final arc did not receive an anime adaptation, something that is fairly uncommon for a big shonen manga. This also probably helped contribute to Bleach's negative perception. So what is the basic premise? Well, Bleach follows our main protagonist, Ichigo Kurosaki, a seemingly average high school boy. But apart from his unique hair colour, and that also he can see dead people, through this power he meets Ryuka, a Soul Reaper / Shinigami. She's looking for a hollow, a dangerous soul that hurt both humans and spirits. Some shenanigans happen and Ichigo gets Ryuka's Soul Reaper powers transferred to him. Now that Ichigo has Soul Reaper powers, he has to carry out his duties as a substitute Soul Reaper. So before we continue, I'd like to talk about my personal history with Bleach. The year was 2008 and I was 16, and just started watching anime again. I watched anime in the past, but mostly shows I just happened to catch on TV, such as Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon and Pokemon. These are examples of shows I just happened to come across and like. But in 2008 I had access to the internet and video streaming was starting to become an option. I wanted to get back into anime. The first one I watched was Naruto at a friend's recommendation. There were other shows I watched over this time period, such as Death Note, Black Cat and Hellsing. All these shows I watched to completion, or at least up to the latest episode. Then there was Bleach, one of the big three shonen. I had already watched Naruto, and I watched One Piece on TV when it aired in the UK. So of course I was going to watch Bleach, as it was in my mind at the time, as well as the shows to watch. Bleach stood out to me, with its striking character designs, its style, and also its contemporary setting. So I watched Bleach. I enjoyed Bleach. I enjoyed the first arc. I really enjoyed the Soul Society arc. Then I fell off at some point in the next arc, which after looking up was called the Bount arc. I literally can't remember anything from it, or what made me stop watching it. I can't even remember if I knew it was filler arc at the time, but maybe that speaks to why I stopped watching it. Also, it was basically half a lifetime ago for me. So when did I get back on the Bleach train? Well, not until recently. Well, not until the end of 2021. I didn't really consider trying Bleach again up until the past year or so. I think Bleach's negative perception over the years stopped me from giving it a go. But with the recent events that I mentioned earlier, it got me thinking about Bleach again.
Ichigo Kurosaki.
So, how am I going to break it down? Well, I think the easiest way to do that is to say what I liked and didn't like. Let's start with the aesthetics. Bleach's manga is dripping with style. You can see from just looking at the manga's cover, with its striking logo and white background, that make it stand out from all the other manga. Also, its character designs are some of the best in manga. Bleach has a style that you can feel just oozing off the pages. Next thing I like is the fights, which is a good thing for a battle manga. Like most good battle manga, you have a bunch of interesting characters with interesting powers clashing with each other, but I think the biggest upside of Bleach is its themes. The main theme of Bleach is death, as Ichigo is a Soul Reaper, basically a Grim Reaper type figure. Death comes up a lot, but Ichigo has had a relationship with death, even before he became a Soul Reaper. As I mentioned earlier, Ichigo could see ghosts. He also saw his own mother die, so death is something that Ichigo would be thinking about a lot, long before he became a Soul Reaper. The first arc of the story, the Substitution arc, really covers Ichigo and those around him and their relationship with death. Also, the Hollows, the main enemy of the first arc, are souls that are being consumed by negative thoughts. The Hollows then become a threat to both the living and dead. So as a substitute Soul Reaper, it's Ichigo's job to purify the Hollows, and then send them to rest. You also come across the rivals to the Soul Reapers, the Quincy, who have a different philosophy on how to handle the Hollows. Death continues to be a theme in other arcs, such as saving a friend from death. The later arcs in Bleach are not significantly as focused on death as the first arc, but it's there, lingering in the background. Just like real life. Also, death has a role in a lot of characters' backstories and character arcs going forward.
Bleach. New episode tonight at midnight, followed by new Kakaishi at 12:30 on Adult Swim.
Now let's talk about the other things I really like about Bleach. Its second arc, the Soul Society arc. This arc is the best arc in Bleach and maybe one of the best arcs in any manga. The basic breakdown is that after Rukia transferred her powers to Ichigo, people in Soul Society found out, and apparently this is against the rules. By the way, Soul Society is a realm where the Soul Reapers hail from. Rukia is arrested and taken to Soul Society, with the possibility of her being executed, so of course Ichigo wouldn't stand for this, so Ichigo and his high school friends infiltrate Soul Society to rescue Rukia. So this is a pretty simple premise, but it's really well executed. This gives Ichigo and his friends important roles, as well as introducing a lot of new Soul Reapers who could be friend or foe to Ichigo's party. This arc also expands on the world of the Soul Society and the Soul Reapers. The arc also expands Soul Reaper power systems, introducing concepts like Bankai. The pacing for this arc is really well done, it makes it a breeze to read. Speaking of pacing, I'm going to talk about my biggest problem with Bleach, and that is the pacing of some of the later arcs. Some people might want to say the problem with Bleach is the declining art or maybe the rushed ending, although I didn't really feel like the art declined when I was reading it. The rushed ending I'll be talking about in the greater context of pacing. So when I say later arcs, it can be complicated with people categorizing it differently. Also some people using sub-arcs in the arc. Here's a screenshot from a Reddit post 8 years ago where it breaks it down. The anime breaks it down differently as well. For example, in this classification, the first arcs of the anime would both come under the Soul Society arc. The first arc, the Substitute Shimigami arc, would come under Soul Society Part 1 in this classification. What I would call traditionally the Soul Society arc would be Soul Society arc Part 2. I personally believe there should be separate arcs in my own classification. As to why I talked about them in the first and second arcs earlier, I have no problem with how the Rancor arc and the 1000-year Blood War arc are classified, as I feel those arcs have more connected overarching goals. So back to my pacing problem with the two arcs. I have a problem with the Rancor arc and the 1000-year Blood War arc, which also happen to be the longest arcs in the manga. I feel these arcs can be trimmed down just by cutting down the number of fights. Both arcs have a big bad who needs to be taken down, which as the reader you know is the end goal of both arcs, but they also have their own subordinates for Ichigo and friends to fight. I have no problem with the idea of that, as One Piece does something similar, with Luffy and his crew splitting off and fighting different enemies. The crew and the big bad subordinates get to show off their powers and have some cool fights, and some character development. So I think Bleach could cut down some of these fights and maybe remove some entirely, to help the pacing of the two big arcs. This became a bigger problem in the 1000-year Blood War arc, where the ending was rushed. I heard the ending would feel rushed before I even started reading Bleach. So as I was reading the last arc and saw the number of chapters whittling down, I was like, I wish some of these fights could be cut down to focus on the main antagonist. I will concede these pacing problems may have been intensified by how I was binge reading the manga. I will let us state I didn't hate the Fullbringer arc, as it helped the overall pacing of the manga by breaking up the two bigger arcs. Well, the rushed ending was a disappointment, but not enough to make me dislike the manga, and there were some good things about it too. Considering the reason for the rushed ending was the mangaka, Choji Kubo, was burned out after doing the manga for over 15 years. With him doing weekly chapters for most of that time. He deserved a break, and did give the manga the ending he wanted to. It's just a little rushed in my opinion. Maybe the upcoming anime adaptation will help those issues. But should you read Bleach? Yes. I feel the manga is still the overall best way to experience Bleach. My only real problem was some pacing issues. The negative perception was greatly overblown. I found Bleach enjoyable to read and well worth my time. I look forward to any new projects the franchise releases. Wait, wasn't there a live action Bleach film at some point? Maybe I'll give that a go down the line. Well, that's the end of another video. It's time I do the things I do at the end of every video. Doing this up pretty well. please like and subscribe.